Yes. So we see Mercy here, Rachel here. Who else is here? Let us know. We'd love to hear from you.
And check the chat.
Check the chat.
Oh, look, she's seen them all. And Mercy says she loves us. Yay, Mercy, we love you too.
Good. Good.
That's so awesome. We're so glad that you get, that you're getting something out of it. And I hope that we both hope that you'll get something out of what we're going to talk about today. We have a lot of content.
Yes, a lot of content.
And you know what? It's about time.
I would say so too. So let me just, we actually made some slides for you guys as well. So, you didn't have to look at our ugly faces all day.
If I do like this, then
you can see it a little bit better. Yeah.
But I can't reach the keyboard.
Awesome. I just want to put up this slide real quick because if you guys like what you hear, all you have to do is use this hashtag.
Home organizing.
Yep, and it's right there on the bottom. Of course, this class is Lose the Clutter, Habits That Could Make or Break Your Organizing Goals in 2016.
Can you make the slide bigger, Tori?
Make it bigger.
A little bit. I think you did it last night. It was a little bit bigger.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. Perfect.
Yes, so I'm Tori Toth, and
I'm Diane de las Casas. I'm the fairy organizer of Once Upon a Storage.
Yes, and so Diane, let's just get started because we got a lot of stuff to do, right?
Yeah, let's get started.
Guys, as you're coming on here, turn off everything that's a distraction, your phone, email, or any other programs you might have out. Find a quiet place to really just take time to discover any new organizing strategies that we're going to give you right now. Make sure to take notes. You can always snap a picture, with your smartphone or iPhone of an image that you see so you can remember it. And then we do have that chat box there that some of you guys are already using. So as you're coming on, please just let us know where you're coming on from and what you'd like to hear from us. Also, if you stay on to the end of this class today, we do have a fast action bonus for you, so you're not going to want to miss this. But let's jump into the content right now because I want to get you guys educated. So first off, do you ever wonder why your home always seems disorganized?
Probably because of other people, not you, right?
Tell us in the chat right now. Answer that question, yes or no. Do you, ever wonder? I can't see the question now. Do you ever wonder why your home always
feels disorganized?
So I know for me, it's all the hubbies and the animals that kind of make it more disorganized. I'm sure I do.
Hobbies or hubbies?
Hubbies, hubby, and fur baby.
The one hubby.
No. Oh, I have multiple hubbies.
Ooh, Tori.
Yeah.
The secret life of Tori Toth.
Oh my goodness. All right. So
I know one of the reasons why so many people feel disorganized all the time is because they don't feel like they have any time. So organization feels like it's too much effort.
Yes, I would agree for sure. So let's move on to the next question. You guys, these questions are for you. We'd like to know exactly what you are thinking and feeling right now. This way we can better help you throughout this conversation. So please feel free to say something. Chat us up. All right, so the next question, tell us, have you tried to get organized and failed? I know I've tried many times and have failed, and I've had to basically recreate systems because it just wasn't working.
Exactly. I think that happens even to the best of us, and for those of us who do this as a profession or who are experts, so-called experts at this, even we have organization failures. And one of the biggest reasons is because you haven't set up a system that works for you and your family. So it's a matter of finding the right system, and we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yes. So let's move on to the next question here. How about tell us, how would you feel if your life was organized? We had a lot of people last night on the call tell us that they would feel less stressed, that they would be able to take naps, that
they would feel more peace.
yes. So how would you feel if your life was just a little bit more organized? Put that in the chat because we'd love to know. I know for me, I feel like a weight has kind of been lifted off me when I know something is organized and done, and I don't really have to deal with it anymore.
And I feel like I can be more productive because I can find everything I need at a glance. I don't have to dig for it. And if I'm working on a particular project, I know where everything is. So for me, that's really important in being organized.
Yes.
Efficiency.
What'd you say? Efficiency?
Efficiency.
Yeah. So let me tell you, we're going to just, Mercy says she'll feel like she has more time. Yes, definitely. I feel like you have more time. So just to let you know a little bit more about me, my name is Tori Toth. I'm a home staging expert, author, and trainer. I'm based out of the New York City area. I started my home staging company back in 2009, and I've recently written a home staging book called Feel at Home, Home Staging Secrets for a Quick and Easy Sell. Just show you the copy of it, so if you guys want to take a peek at it, you can. And also, based on the book, I decided to create an online home staging video course that teaches people every step that you need to take in order to get your home prepared for sale, or even get your home prepared for just a new lifestyle that you want to accept. And organizing is just a small piece of our staging process. So I want to bring on an organizing expert, and that's where the fairy organizer comes in as well. So Diane, tell us a little bit about more why you wear the crown.
My tiara, yes. So my name is Diane de las Casas, and I am a children's book author with 26 traditionally published books, as well as a professional storyteller and the fairy organizer of Once Upon a Storage. So I'm going to show you one of my books, which is not on organizing, but has plenty of sparkle. So this is my latest children's book called Cinderellafant. And notice she has bling and sparkle, yes. So I started Once Upon a Storage last year, but I've been organizing for well over 20 years, and I wanted to combine my love of children's books and stories as well as organizing. So that's how I came up with Once Upon a Storage and becoming the fairy organizer. I bring sparkle wherever I go.
And you actually have, you're working on an organizing book now, right?
It's called Organizing Happily Ever After.
What a cute
because I think we all should feel happy that we're organized, and if we can stay organized happily ever after, we will all feel happier.
So yeah, when things work and flow, it is easier to bounce back from chaos. This is very true, Mercy. I told you this is the first. That's Remy right there, you guys.
And there's Carla too. Hi, Carla. Carla came in and she said she found the chat box, and that chaos, the opposite of chaos is peace. So finding peace is important, right? So we want to lose the chaos, which is losing the clutter.
Yes, this is so true. So
where are you coming in from, Carla? Let us know.
Yes. Let us know. I'd love to know. What's going on here? Stop. Okay, go. Stop, go. Lots of screens to deal with. All right, so here's what you guys are going to learn today. The 7 most common reasons that people aren't seeing results. What are people who are getting results doing differently? And a solution for integrating your organization into your daily routine, right? Because I was saying yesterday, organizing is like a living organism. You constantly have to upkeep it, maintain it, tweak it, and we'll talk a little bit more about how to do that. So, Diane, let's start off with the 7 reasons why someone really never begins organizing, or they
Or
begin.
they give up. Yes.
Yes. So, I can't create or keep organizing systems. That is number 1, people. If that's you, let us know in the chat. Have you tried, and you've tried different organizing systems and they just haven't worked? I know for me, I've seen, many times I've had clients that would just, they'd start a system or they give up because their kids just are constantly causing clutter in their house. So they just never begin, basically. How about you, Diane?
I think it's really important when you are establishing your systems, so you don't give up, so you don't just say, oh, forget about it, that you work within your already established habits. So, for instance, I do a lot of whole home organizing, where I organize an entire home for a family. And one of the things that I find is that when people come in through the door, they tend to just drop everything right there by the door. So when the kids come in, they're dropping their backpacks and they're dropping their shoe, they're kicking off their shoes. So one of the things that I do is set up an organizing system right there. Have hooks on the wall where they can hang their backpacks as soon as they come in, so they don't have to walk all the way to their room and hang it in the closet, because sometimes that may be too much effort, especially if they've already established the other habit. Put a shoe rack right there, so instead of kicking off their shoes, they can place their shoes on the shoe rack by the door. So that's one thing that I think that you could look at, is what are your family's habits and how can you work with them to establish an organizing system.
Yeah, and speaking of families, I grew up in a house that was fairly disorganized and cluttered. It was kind of like an orchestrated, organized chaos. I wouldn't say it was completely organized, but there was a lot of things going on. And so there wasn't a place to call home for everything, I guess you'd say. So that's what was causing all this clutter. And I could easily have just thrown up my hands and said, "All right, forget it. That's what I learned. I'm not going to be an organized person either." But that's not the right way to go. So you always have to keep going, stay motivated, right?
And do the work. Yes, it's not easy. It isn't easy. I'm not saying that being organized is like, oh my gosh, it's so easy. But once you do set up a system that works, it does get easier. It does get easier. And the other thing I would say, and we'll talk about this later, is that, you've got to train your family. You really do.
Yes. So what is the purpose of getting you organized? I want you to start thinking about why you want to get organized right now. If you want to put that in the chat, we'd love to know why you want to get organized this year. What is it that's causing you to feel this way? It's usually because you're looking to change an emotional state, like, you want to feel relaxed, someone just said, you want to feel productive or have control. So when you get organized, think about what's in it for you, and it will be enough to keep you motivated, I feel like. How about you?
Now, Mercy says that consistency is key. She has a busy home, and she's finally at the point where she has a functioning home and everyone in her home is on board. Congratulations, Mercy. So you're just kind of tweaking what you have. Carla says that she's a wife, a mother of 6, a mother of, hello, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 children. The youngest is 16, and she thought she would do better when her kids were gone, but she says it seems worse, probably because your team members are gone. So, you're handling clutter more or less by yourself. And Carla is from Southern Illinois. Welcome, Carla, and thank you for sharing that. So, yeah, it's a lot. I understand. I recently organized a home for a mother of 6 and 5 dogs. Yes. Let me tell you, there was quite a lot of chaos and some shared rooms, shared spaces, but it can be done, and we're going to get into that very shortly.
Yeah, so people often say, motivation doesn't last. Well, neither does bathing, and that's why it's recommended daily. And this is a quote from Zig Ziglar. So we really just need to stay focused and stay motivated. And we'll share a little bit about how we can help you throughout the year do that. So let's talk about some organizational skills, Diane.
Okay. And don't forget, you do need to bathe every day. So one of the things you need to do is make a home for your items. And I always like to say that you need to make a specific and permanent home for those items. And I'm going to give you an example. Some items might have several homes inside your house. For instance, let's say you have rubber bands, or you have thumbtacks, and you need them in different parts of the house. Well, you would designate a specific spot, a place, a drawer, a container for those little items, and everyone in the household should know where they are. So, it's like when you have your red box and you have to return it. They have multiple kiosks and you can return it at any one of those kiosks. So it's the same with your little items. So if you have multiple homes for them, they know that they can return them in any one of those homes.
And the homes are basically strategically placed, So you need to ask yourself, where will you use that specific item? Will you remember where the item is? And does it need to be visible or easy to reach? And that's going to help you bring things back home to where they should be. So
this is really important for little kids, the visible and easy to reach, because if it isn't visible and it's not easy to reach, small children will not keep things organized. However, if you set up a system where there is visibility and there's accessibility, kids will get on board. Actually, kids, they crave discipline and they crave structure. I know it. They really do. They thrive with it. So start early.
And these, honestly, all these that are listed right here are basic skills that we actually learned as a kid. And, we might be a little bit rusty on them. So that's why we wanted to touch upon them quickly. Another thing, too, is you want to remember to group like items together or items that belong with each other together. This way it's easier to retrieve and obviously put away, that we mentioned before. An example of this is obviously, let's say your coffee pot. You also want your mugs and your coffee, your K-cups, and the sugar and the creamer, all kind of in the one specific general area. So it's easier for you to use. Also, checklists and schedules will help you prioritize, stay on track, and create efficiency, and allows you to clear your mental clutter that is making you feel disorganized.
In fact, every night before I go to bed, I make a to-do list so I can get that mental clutter out of my head before I rest. Because you don't want to be dreaming about that stuff. You don't want to be dreaming about, oh my gosh, I have to return these papers to the kid's teacher, or I've got to do 2 loads of laundry tomorrow. You want to make sure you get that on an actual checklist or to-do list. And I use my smartphone for that. I love my app called Wunderlist, and I also love Evernote. Wunderlist is spelled Wunderlist for those of you who are interested.
I'm going to put that in the chat. So,
and it's free. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'll do that. I love those free apps, right?
Yes.
Wunderlist.
The next one, how about having manageable tasks? If you have a large project that you're trying to work on, or just something that is really big and could be stressful, just start taking little pieces of it and making the large project a little bit more manageable for you to be able to handle. So think small chunks, one thing at a time, one step at a time, right? That's what we talk about. Also, pick your favorites. You know that you love certain things and that you go to certain things. So make sure those are out, that you're able to keep those. And the things that you don't use often, try getting rid of.
Like in one of my favorite organization books by Marie Kondo, it's called The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. She talks about keeping things that spark joy. And I love that concept. So favorite things, things that actually spark joy, things that you want to keep around you because they bring you good memories or happy feelings. And the rest, let it go.
Yes, and you know, if you do, once you do let it go, you'll actually have room to grow. So you'll be able to put new things into those specific areas, or even just have empty space so you feel a lot less cluttered.
Exactly. The other thing you want to do is leave room to grow.
Yes.
Room to grow. And this is really important when you're setting up your organizational systems. Having at least 20% space to grow will help you be more flexible with your storage needs. But I can't get rid of that. There's my storyteller voice.
Yes. Emotions, you know, they can be a big influence on someone when it comes to getting organized. Many times, you know, we know people associate emotions with material possessions. So, for instance, you know, I can't get rid of these curtains because my grandmother made them for me, or, you know, my father started this coin collection, so I have to keep it. When you organize your home, you're essentially changing your home and your habits, which can be overbearing for some, right? So they really just avoid it altogether. And that's not good.
Yesterday, we both talked about this a little bit, but you and I both went through major hurricanes. You went through the Superstorm Sandy, and I went through Katrina. And one of the things that I learned was that stuff is just stuff, and stuff can be replaced. People cannot be replaced. It certainly gave me a new perspective on my way of thinking about organizing and getting rid of things. Things don't make you happy, right? Happiness comes internally, but we need to create those systems to keep those things corralled so we can have more time and more productivity and more peace.
Yes. And, you know, I was actually happy that that happened because I was able to get rid of things that I've been holding on to, you know, for years that I didn't really need, but I just felt like I had to hold on to the stuff.
Emotional clutter. Yes. Stuff can
Yeah.
be emotional clutter.
Yeah. So what do you guys fear if you get organized? You know, let us know in the chat right there. What do you fear?
I know that some people, odd as it sounds, fear success. And yesterday in our webinar, someone mentioned that she feared she wouldn't have enough to do if she accomplished everything she wanted to do.
I know.
I told her to watch our videos. She would always have something to do.
Yes, so true.
Fear of success and fear of loss, those are two things that hamper people and keep them, you know, hinder people and keep them from getting organized.
Yes, that I love that. Okay, so how do we lose the clutter?
KPS, girl.
I know, right? So
Store it.
yes. Organization doesn't happen until after you sifted through all your belongings. So, I mean, I recommend the 80-20 rule, which is basically approximately 80% of the benefit comes from 20% of the effort. So if you apply that to clutter here, we use 20% of our possessions 80% of the time. So why not start purging it, you know? Get rid of it.
So tossing it, selling it, donating it. You can sell it at places like Craigslist or Angie's List or websites like Declutter. They take like old DVDs. You can make money off them, and then you can use that money for something more important in your life.
Or even better storage solution.
That's right. Or that bonus to keep you more organized.
Yes, Mercy says, I think fear have to keep it always perfect. Her fear is she thinks she always has to keep it perfect.
We're going to talk about that in a minute too.
Yes. And Carla says room to grow, something that got lost somewhere along the way after we moved into our bigger than big dream house 17 years ago.
Wow, Carla, 17 years is a lot of years of accumulation. And since you have so many children, you know, there's so many memories that happened in that house. And a lot of people think that they can't get rid of things because it has a memory attached to it. And there are some things that you don't want to get rid of, sentimental things like pictures. There's some keepsakes that you want to keep. Those are what I consider family legacies. So of course those are okay to keep. But there are other things like your child's you know, pull toy that they walked around with when they were 2 years old. You certainly don't need that anymore. That would be clutter. Pass it along to someone else who can find joy from it.
Yes, and Mercy says her town has a virtual garage sale. I know a lot of our town has something similar to that as well. I sell tops of things. What is that?
Lots of things.
Oh, lots of things. I'm like, what are tops of things?
It sells lots of tops.
Ooh,
I'm just teasing you, Mercy. So that's great, a virtual garage sale. And actually, there are a lot of Facebook garage sale things as well. So if you're on Facebook, they have garage sale groups within your local area.
yes. Let's head over to number 3, but I'm dealing with a life moment. This is really another reason why someone may have a hard time organizing. And it has to do with like what's going on in their life right now. And really this type of person was, you know, will be most likely a very organized person until the life event happens, you know, and it could be a divorce, a baby, or you're moving. That really disrupts your schedule, your routine, and your habits. So if it's
I just went through that. I just went through a divorce, and you know, it's amicable, and my ex and I are friends. However, going through the divorce, there were some things I just had to let go of because, you know, I was dealing with so many other things, and I know that those life moments can be overwhelming. Carla says, I don't think I have any room in my life, even now, for fearing success. But on the flip side, I don't have or make room in my life to consider order. Perhaps therein lies the problem. I'm not going to say perhaps. I'm going to say, Carla, therein lies the problem. You have to prioritize what's important to you. And if order is important to you, then you're going to make time for it and you're going to make room for it. Right, Tori?
yes, and there are advantages to moving every few years because then it forces you to go through everything and really figure out if that's something that you're going to pack away in a box and then move it and then unpack it. You know, that's 3 different times you can actually lose an item. So
right. I'm a military brat, so I grew up moving all over the world, and because of that, I actually had to prioritize what was important to me, what I could take and what I had to leave behind, because there was only so much room. That they would allow you so much weight to move, and everything else you had to you know, leave behind or get rid of.
oh my God, I'd be a little bad at that. When you said that right now, I'm thinking about even when I pack.
Here's one thing I kept from all the foods. This is a little dog that I made. Her name is Duchess. Is my dog that died, but it's sentimental and I kept it. But I have a place for it in my office.
Yeah. Oh God. All right. So
it sparks joy.
how do you deal with life moments? Basically, what you do is you make a plan and you
stick with it.
Right. So,
and you know, I just wrote an article about the 10 habits of super productive people. And the thing is that super productive people follow through. What they stick with their goals from inception to completion. So if you're going to start a project, do it. Just like Nike, just do it.
Just do it.
And stick with it, just like Tori said.
Yes. So the organizing strategy here, you know, again, you want to think small, take one closet, one corner, one room. one drawer, and basically go through each item. Then you want to determine if you're going to keep, store, toss, sell, or donate it, right? So that you're going to go through all of your items. And then you want to make sure to group those like items together that you're keeping, and then remove all the other items that are going to be tossed, sold, or donated. Get them out of your house as soon as you can. Don't linger on it. Don't let it collect clutter in another space.
Hey, look, we have somebody, Anne from Waterdown, Ontario, Canada. Welcome, Anne. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Anne. Yeah, lady, if you guys are coming on, there's a chat box. You can introduce yourself like Anne just did and join the conversation, because we'd love to know what your organizing needs are.
What's troubling you? Okay, so the next thing is, after you have done all of your sorting and your purging and what you've decided to keep, now you need to clean that space. So if you're working on the dining room table, I know that the dining room table becomes a dumping ground for so many families. After you've removed everything, clean it. It'll make you feel better. And of course, you'll be able to implement your new organizational systems. Or keep the dining room, the horizontal space clear.
I think that becomes a dumping ground, coffee table. I mean, not a coffee table, a dining room table, is because—
And the coffee table too.
Yeah, but the formal dining room really isn't used that much in society anymore. So it becomes a dumping ground until you have guests over or something.
Until Christmas. So once a year it gets cleaned, or Thanksgiving, right?
Yes.
Use a formal dining room. That's why I don't have a formal dining room anymore. I turned that room into a multifunction room with an office, and it's an extra guest room and our food styling room.
That's pretty cool. I like it. All right. So once you've cleaned the space, I mean, clean closets, clean the shelving, clean everything. You want to clean everything down and start fresh here. You want to assign things home, and this is the biggest thing. You need to make sure that where you're assigning every item that you're dealing with, you're assigning it to a place that it's going to be functioned and it's going to be used, or else, it's not going to get back home. I talked about that a little bit.
And Tori, maybe we could just touch upon zones, like putting like items together in a zone. I know zone sounds like we're talking about traffic, but we're not. We're talking about the traffic zones in your house. So for instance, in the kitchen, and we're going to get into this a little bit later, but you have specific zones where you prep food, where you eat food, where you store food. So those would all be zones. And if you think in zones and think in categories, it becomes much easier to maintain organizing systems.
Yes, that is so true. That's the way I organized my kitchen, and I will quickly show you how I did that in just a second. And then one of the last things that you definitely want to do is educate your household, because if you are just organizing your house and nobody else in the house is, you're going to be pulling your hair out, because you're going to feel like you're never getting anything done. And if this is you, let us know in the chat if you just feel like you need to educate the rest of the household. So Diane, what are like some ways you can educate the household?
Well, one of the things that I do, especially when I do a whole house makeover, is I get the whole family involved, even to the littlest child. Even if they're 2 years old, there's always something that everyone can do to help keep the household organized. The mom and or the dad should not have to do it by themselves. It is a team effort. So, changing your paradigm, the way you think about organization and making it a team effort, that's one thing. So I have two daughters. One is 15 and the other one is 25. When the 25-year-old was 8 years old, I taught her how to do her own laundry. And she did her laundry, she sorted it, she folded it, and she put it away. When my 15-year-old was 8 years old, I did the same thing. So everyone in my household did their own laundry. Can you imagine the bliss? You're not dealing with 6 piles of laundry in one day because they're all doing their own laundry. When it would hit a certain point in the hamper, they knew that they had to go and wash their clothes. And, that system still works in my family to this day.
I love
So
that.
that's a way that you can educate, where you actually give them set chores or tasks that become habits, and the habits become a lifestyle. So that's what you want to go for. You want to go for organization as a lifestyle. So poor Carla. Carla says she emptied, cleaned, and organized her own enormous closet. By the way, I have closet envy now, Carla. 3 times in the past 5 years, but she's never gotten to the other areas. So Carla, here's my advice to you. Stop organizing the closet. And in the words of Elsa, let it go. Find another place in the house. Find another place that you can start organizing. And I would suggest a public area. The place and places that people come through. So if you have company, organize those public areas.
So
Ooh, Tori, I love that picture.
I know. Let's talk about this for a second. Does everybody see that? Since everyone, there you go. So this is what we're talking about when we're talking about zoning, right? And so this is considered a zone. A closet is considered a zone of an entire room. Okay.
And there are subzones.
And then these are the subzones. So why don't you take us through this, Diane? What are some of these subzones right here?
Okay, so looking at it from my perspective, on the right-hand side, you'll see the dresses hanging. So there's a little zone for the dresses. And right below that, you'll see all of the high heel shoes. That's another zone. The boots are in its own zone. You can see purses are on the top 2 shelves. And then everything else has its own place. You'll see things that are stacked and folded. You'll see some boxes. It's very well organized. And I was teasing Tori. I was like, this person in this closet actually did what we all should do. They got rid of 80% of their clothing, and they're using the 20% we actually use. You know, we use 20% of our closets. It's true. And then, of course, if you live in New York or somewhere seasonal, I live in New Orleans, so we pretty much have just one season. It's either hot or it's cold. But you guys change out your clothes seasonally, right? I mean, you have the scarves and the hats and the gloves and the sweaters and all of that. So you have to have multiple zones and organizational systems, and sometimes you have to switch things out and put them in storage.
You know, I was talking with an organizer in the area not too long ago, and she mentioned this tip, and I loved it. I've never heard of it before. Basically, you know, you want to hang your clothes all in one direction, and she says hang the clothes so the actual hook is facing you on the bar. Okay, so start out that way, all of your clothes, which, you know, is unconventional because most you want the hook hanging inside towards the closet wall. So
and at the end of 6 months,
yeah, and if you, at the end of 6 months or the end of your season, you realize that you still have a lot of hooks this way, you know, facing out towards you, chances are you didn't even touch it or wear it that entire season. And if that's the case, it's time to get rid of it, right?
Exactly. And it works because you'll see the clothes that you use on a regular basis. Another little quick tip that I use in my own closet is when I take something off the hanger, I take the hanger and I put it all the way to the front of my closet. So all the empty hangers are in one spot instead of having to look through all the clothes and where's an empty hanger, and when you're putting your clothes away, all the empty hangers are in front.
Yes, definitely do that as well. Okay, let's move on to reason number 4 why someone may not get organized. And, you know, it's just too time consuming, Diane. I can't.
No, I can't. Literally, I can't.
I can't deal. I got no time.
Oh, Mercy has to leave us. But you know what, Mercy? You're already on track to becoming well organized. It sounds like you've got a lot of good systems going. You can access this after. So once we're done, it's going to be on Tori's channel, and I'll be embedding it on my website. So even if you have to leave us for the live webinar, you can still see it later.
Yes, and if you did sign up for this, you'll get a replay as well in email. So the key is not to prioritize what is on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. And that is from Stephen Covey. All right, so how do we do that, Diane? Here in recent,
You,
yeah.
I'm pretty good at being, I'm really good at time management. I like to think I am, yes, because I have to manage so many different things. So my 15-year-old daughter is a celebrity chef, and I manage her career. Then I have 26 books of my own, and I manage my career. And my boyfriend is a motivational public speaker, and I help manage his career as well. So I have, and then I've got my YouTube and all this Once Upon a Storage stuff. So I have to be on top of my game. One of the ways that you can do that with your organization is creating a daily plan. So, you know, decide, and we talked about this earlier, the to-do list, decide what you're going to do on a daily basis. Some things are going to be repeated. You know, let's say cleaning the kitchen counter, that is a daily activity. So you can delegate that. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And then using a calendar or an organizer. And I am a huge believer in using a calendar or an organizer, or in my instance, I use a smartphone, and I have a number of apps that help me to keep organized. I really love Google Calendar, and I use an app called Calendgoo that helps me not only schedule myself, but schedule everybody else, so I can see Eliana's schedule and John's schedule and my schedule all in one place. So if you have a big family, that is something you might want to consider, you know, especially if there's soccer practice and ballet and piano and all of the things that busy families do. Deadlines. And here's one thing that I always say about deadlines. Deadlines are your lifelines to success. And Tori, why don't you tell them why you think it's important to be early with your deadlines and what
So
you do?
basically what I do is I try and psych myself out basically. So if I have an article that's due, I'll usually put it on the calendar that it's due a week before it actually is. And then when I'm time crunched and I feel like I have to get this thing done, I have an extra whole week that it really needs to be in. So if you can kind of psych yourself out and put things on your calendar ahead of schedule, you'll actually be on time, and even the early bird in most cases, which makes you look like an organizing fairy.
Hello. Okay, so Shimmy Chic just came on and said, Diane, you mentioned time management. What if you are not in the mood to clean or declutter? Tips for getting organized? And by the way, she's from Utah. Thank you, Shimmy Chic, from
Hi,
Utah.
Sherry. How
You.
are you?
So, tips for staying organized, or I'm sorry, motivated to be organized. Think about your end result and why you want to be organized. Do you want more space? Do you want peace? Do you want more time? Those things really help to motivate me. Or if I have excess clutter and I'm thinking about having a garage sale, that little extra money motivates me. And I just love being able to come home from whatever it is I'm doing that day, or from a trip. I travel a lot, and I walk in and my house welcomes me with open, clean, uncluttered arms.
Yes. I think too,
How do you stay motivated, Tori? Like,
you
look at your office. It's beautiful.
know, I stay motivated because I think of how I grew up and all the chaos that was around me in my family's home. And I mean, again, with the phone, this happened to us
Hello,
last.
Miss Popularity. While you're doing that, I just want to welcome Southern Belle, who lives in Indiana, and she's originally from Texas. And, you know, we're talking about calendars and scheduling. She says she wants to use a planner, but she has no idea where to start. And she purchased a temporary planner, and she's waiting on the planner that she actually ordered. So I'm guessing she probably, you know, ordered a fancy one like an Erin Condren or something of the like, and she's using a temporary calendar. Kudos to you for getting that calendar, Southern Belle. We're very proud of you. And one thing I would encourage you to do is, once you have your permanent calendar set up, keep it with you everywhere you go. Because the minute you have something that you need to schedule, you need to have your scheduler with you. It's like your personal secretary.
Yeah, and it depends what you're using it for, and it depends what type of a planner you are. Like, do you like seeing everything pretty, or are you just more functional? You just need to circle, a time to remember the actual task that you need to do. And then do you like to write down all your tasks, or just block out appointments? There's a lot of different ways that you can plan and things like that. You just want to get a jump start on it. And I would say chunk your time out and take some time to figure out what type of planner you are.
Okay, so I'm holding up my YouTube planner. So this is separate from, I schedule the rest of my life on my smartphone on Google Calendar, but like my uploads and edits and all of that is on this pretty thing. And I started out really like fancy and decorative and wow. And truthfully, it's, and then there's the daily stuff. And then I eventually switched to being a little bit more basic because that's what I had time for.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very basic. I mean, I use the At a Glance Planner 2016. I do like it because it gives you like quick notes. You can use some quick notes here on the side. And these stickers are from strangedandcharmed.com. Her name is Alexa, and she actually she creates these, and she's a ginormous planner, so you may want to actually look at some of her stuff. But for me, I mean, I just like jotting things down quickly. She does do the top 3 things too, which I love as well. So, and these are just stickers. That's as creative as I get in my planner, honestly, because my planner is just for function.
Southern Belle says now she wants to make her calendar all pretty. You know what? If you have the time, it's fun. It's like scrapbooking, and for me, sitting down and making it pretty was like, it's like coloring, stickers. And when I was growing up, I was a Sanrio girl, so getting all these cool stickers for my planner was so much fun. And that's the only reason that you would decorate it, is because it makes you feel good when you open your planner. But if you don't have time, don't bother with that. Get the basics down and keep your scheduler, your planner, your smartphone, whatever you're using, keep it with you at all times. Okay, we need to move along.
Yes, we do. All right, so again, if you want to basically hit your deadlines and be ahead, make sure that you set reminders, that you have a clock nearby, and that you make sure that you write down when you start something, when you stop something. I mean, I use an hourglass. I have a 1 hour hourglass, and I have a 2 hour hourglass right here.
Beautiful.
And
I want that one. That one's beautiful.
I got from Home Goods.
I love Home Goods so much. And at home.
They did have it in different colors and stuff like that. But so these things kind of keep me on task in my office. And then you want to put a limit on your tasks too. So if the hourglass is up and I'm still doing something, I need to decide right then if I'm going to keep on moving on this project, or if I need to then go and schedule a different day to work on this project again.
Right. Whatever. You have to prioritize your time and decide how important it is for you to finish that project.
Yes, and then also you just want to block distractions, of course.
Put the kids in a closet. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't go hit up your social media channels, check your phone, pet the dogs, grab food.
No Facebooking while you're on that task. No Instagramming. No selfies. I think I'm talking to myself.
Also,
okay, so scheduling the priorities. We're so big on to-do lists, right? We've said this several times, but it's really important.
Yeah, I have a lot of to-do lists. I think that my husband hooked on to-do lists now. He's actually loving it. He actually asked me to start lists. He's like, "Oh, do we have a shopping list started yet?" Which I think is
by the way, I love Estranged and Charmed. I love watching her stuff. She's really good. Her videos are super long, but she's really good with the planner.
Yeah, she does have some amazing stuff. So if you are looking for some planning advice, I would tell you to go to her. we mentioned about the tracking time spent. You want to group like tasks together so you're not wasting time. So you got an example of that, Diane?
Actually, I do. I have a social media example. So sometimes you just don't have a lot of time to post to Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, and all of those things for those of us who use social media to promote ourselves are really important. So I have my Instagram set up to where I can tweet it at the same time and Facebook it at the same time. So it goes out once to 3 different social media platforms. So that's a good way to group that like task and to, to consolidate.
Another one too is like when you're cooking dinner, you obviously the next thing would be is eating it and then cleaning up after yourself. I know a lot of people leave dishes in the sink, and that's just when you're cooking something, the next step should obviously be the last step should be cleaning up after yourself, because you don't want to leave that stuff out.
I clean
Also,
as I go. I try to clean as I go. It makes it simpler. So if you have ground meat, cooking like for your tacos, then a couple of dishes I'll stick in the sink and wash them really quickly.
yes. Also, you don't want to multitask at all, or try not to as much, although we are multitasking today, aren't we?
What we mean by that is that if you are sitting down to do an organization project, you want to focus on the one project and not try to do multiple organization projects at once. For instance, don't start your closet and your kitchen at the same time. It's not going to work. You'll be distracted and both jobs will not get done.
Yes, and then obviously eliminate those time wasters that we talked about, and delegate. Delegate.
Guess what? If you have a family, you have a team. Your family is your team, and you can delegate to them. Even the smallest child can do something.
That is true. I think you could start really getting them to do stuff as young as 2. If
Absolutely.
Yes. So let's go to number 5 here. I want, therefore I buy. And this is really that compulsive shopper. Someone who is trying to fill a void. So if this sounds like you, let us know in the chat, and then what you plan on doing to kind of hinder this behavior. Because the person really buys an item just to replace another. They usually have a hard time throwing anything away, and
right. And then hoarding and collecting. There's a fine line between collecting and hoarding. And when I was growing up, my mother, who's Filipino, she likes to collect things. I don't know, I feel like a lot of Filipinos like to collect things. Lots of little figurines, lots of things to dust. So I grew up with, it was always clean and organized, but it was cluttery. And I knew that when I grew up, I didn't want to live like that. Yeah. So when I shop with a purpose. And I think that's really the important thing, that when you go out shopping, shop with a purpose.
Yeah, only go when necessary, and make sure to bring a list and then just stick to it. So you don't start buying things you don't necessarily need. And then I would just say too, try and only bring cash when you're shopping, because this really makes you think twice about the purchase. And if you're still considering it, walk away for a few minutes, want the item, go back and purchase it. And honestly, statistics say people usually never go back and get it.
Speaking of going to the store with cash, my 25-year-old daughter recently went on vacation, and I put her on an envelope system. So every day she had a daily budget. And she took these envelopes with her, and they were labeled by day. So she went to Austin, and each day that was her money that she could spend. And if she had any left over, she could roll it over to the next day. But she could never spend more that was allotted in that envelope. And so you could do a similar thing if you have trouble shopping. If you're a shopaholic, and you have trouble with that, leave the credit cards, the debit cards at home, bring cash in an envelope, and that's all you get to spend.
That's a pretty good idea. I should do that.
It's really great on vacation too, because a lot of times on vacation, we really tend to just be like, oh, we're on vacation, let's blow it.
Blow it all. Let's spend it all. All right, so some organizing products to consider here. Now, before honestly you go out and start spending a ton of money on new bins and baskets and buckets and all that stuff,
Wait, I'm sorry. Carla's making me laugh. She says we're doing a great job of multitasking, and then she talks about self-sabotage. Starting two projects at once is self-sabotage, and I want, therefore I buy is also self-sabotage.
That
so
is
true.
Very true, Carla. So first, shop your home and reuse what you already have in there. Then take measurements of the items that you're actually going to store, as well as where you're going to store it. And I would just say have a notebook or something that's handy.
Your planner.
Put it in your planner. So when you go out, you have those measurements with you, and you're not buying things that you don't necessarily need, because chances are you'll probably never take it back to the store and you're just collecting more clutter.
By the way, Tori and I both keep tape measures in our cars because we're measuring things all the time.
Yeah. Now, I mean, I love clear products. Like, I love clear plastic bins and stuff. I love being able to see what I'm containing inside them. How about you, Diane?
Okay, I love the clear stuff too, and I do use a fair number of them, but I'm going to show you what I have. This is in my office. So this is a canvas basket and bin or whatever, and I love these. I love that it hides the clutter. But one thing that I do is I always label, and this is just a binder clip, and then I use my labeler to tell you what's in it. This is my professional camera, so this is pro camera, so all my camera equipment is in there. And I think that really helps, and it keeps my office looking streamlined. I love baskets and bins.
Yes,
Labeling is important for me.
Show you, since you showed your camera gear stuff. So I use something like this for all of my camera gear, equipment, and things, odds and ends. So I told you I like the clear.
Yeah, it looks nice.
But this is an art bin, and then obviously,
and it's labeled inside.
Yes, you see that it's labeled all inside there, and you can move these so you can keep each section big and small depending on what your needs are. So I love
growth. There's that room for growth.
Yes.
Flexibility.
Yes. So
Carla says cash envelopes is the only way to do vacation. Yay, Carla. She's on board the envelope system.
Love it.
And Carla also says that a few places she doesn't take her person to is hospital gift shop. Oh my gosh, I get so, I went to a hospital gift shop and they had a candle for $125. Are you serious? A candle for, it had 5 wicks, but still, really? 120.
They can't light a candle in the hospital, can they?
Yeah, you can't do that in the room. I guess you're going to bring it home, and it's $25 a wick.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Shimmy Chic. Yeah, I try to stay organized. I do. Okay, you also want to consider your shapes and materials. If you have something that's odd shaped, you could try and figure out a storage solution for it. You basically got to be creative. Okay, that's what it comes down to. Also, does it need a lid? And we talked about this a little yesterday, Diane, where a lot of times kids won't put something away because it had a lid on it, and even adults do this too because it's just an extra step. So
and they're lazy. I'll get lazy sometimes.
It counts to be honest. And if you want to kill that habit, put a lid on it because it'll make you not be as lazy. But if you want to make sure that things stay organized and things go back into their home, you may want to consider using products that don't have lids on them. And also another tip here is to shop in bulk. You can find a lot of products, whether they be at those big bulk stores, I'm drawing right now. What are they called?
And Costco.
Yes. Yes, so you can find organizing products there, but you just want to shop in bulk too, so you can go to the store, get what you need, and then bring it home and kind of put it all together.
Like with like.
Like with like. Okay,
So
guys.
the other thing I want to say about kids storage and open containers for kids is that if you are going to do that type of system, especially for younger kids, please make sure that you label, if they are not reading, label with pictures. So for instance, if you have Legos, you want to put on the front of the bin a picture of the Legos. They do this in kindergarten classrooms. You want to see organization, go into a kindergarten teacher's room. There is a spot for everything. Every child's backpack has a little hook. It's great. And I don't know why sometimes we forget those concepts that we learned in kindergarten.
Because we are a lot older than we were in kindergarten. We probably
Southern Belle she's begging us, please elaborate on how you tame paper clutter, especially receipts and bills. Okay, we didn't even talk about this yesterday, but we can talk about this right now. So by my front door, I have what I call an action center, and it is a 4-tier shelf, and each shelf has a bin. The top bin says mail in. The second bin is mail out. The third bin is to the car, and the last bin on the bottom is donations. So in the mail in bin every day, so whoever checks the mail puts the mail in there, and then it's my responsibility, since I'm head of household. I take all of the mail and I open it over my trash or the shredder. I don't wait for it to accumulate. There's always so much junk that. Now, bills, some bills if you're using them for business purposes, you'll need to keep them. But other bills, once you pay them, you can get rid of them. And you can also find apps where you can scan your receipts. And I do this with my smartphone all the time. A lot of times I'll have to create an expense report for a client. So I scan the receipts, and then I don't have that paper clutter. Another way that I corral my receipts is, okay, so this is my 2015 expenses, and it's category month. This is really great for the tax guy or gal, whoever's doing your taxes, and they need the receipts. So this is another great way to handle receipts. And you just have to be really disciplined. Like, your purse can get really cluttered with receipts. So you can actually use one of these same systems. They have the smaller ones like at Dollar Tree for $1, and put your receipts in there so it doesn't create clutter inside your purse. And then when you once a week maybe empty out your receipts into your system.
I mean, you could even probably use a Ziploc bag too if you didn't even want to spend money on something like that. And then just corral them in a bucket or bin and just label the month that the receipts came from.
Like this one is just my home receipts. Just declare Polly. I got this at Dollar Tree. The other ones are business receipts. So how else do you handle paper clutter?
I
For so many people.
You want to know what? I kind of I like to print everything. I like versus read it on my computer. So I do have a lot of things that I print. Sometimes I'll throw the stuff out once I don't need it. I do have like a storage system up my wall over here. I can't show you. I can't move my computer. And then I have a file system over here. I also use these bins from the Container Store because I liked the way they looked. But this is like a file bin right here, so you can obviously label it, and then inside you could put your files and things like that. So
you know what's great about that too, Tori, that if you're someone who works on the go like you do, you can bring the whole bin with you in your car.
Yes, I mean, you could do this for each client if your client collects a lot of paperwork. I know my husband, he's an accountant, so they have bins like this. They're more of they're more basket type or something, but they have this in their offices, and then they just collect the paper as it comes in.
That is also great for kids' schoolwork and school papers, and you can have a different colored folder for each child. You know how they bring home papers every day?
And this is what we do with our bills. We go through the mail as soon as it comes in the door. We go through the mail, and any bill will go in here until we actually pay them. Obviously, you can see it's bill time. That just hangs.
Go pay your bills.
That's the husband's job.
And you know what? Here's another way to eliminate paper clutter. You can opt to receive an online bill or an emailed bill and eliminate getting one in the mail. So many of the companies are doing that now. Not only does it reduce your paper clutter, but it helps save trees. So if you're interested in doing that, you can definitely go online with whatever company you're working with and request that.
Yes. All right. Well, let's move on, and then if we need to go back to that topic, we can certainly do that at the end. We are almost done here anyway. So another reason why someone may not begin to really organize or stops organizing is because something is broken. You know, I helped this client whose kitchen was a complete disaster, Diane, and really everything was laid out like all over the counters. And then there was nothing in the cabinets. I was opening up the cabinet doors and there was like nothing in there. So I asked him, you know, why isn't this stuff in his cabinets? And he basically said that the cabinets were broken. Well, come to find out, you just stick a couple pegs in there and you got shelves and you have a place to put all your stuff rather than the countertop. So,
so that was preventing him from organizing his kitchen and putting things where they needed to be. Wow, yes. It's a simple fix. I encountered a similar problem when I was helping a mother organize her home office, and she had I'm not even kidding, like the stack was like, you can't even see my hands, but like it was so high with papers. And I said, why do you have so many papers? She said, my shredder's broken. I said, well, why don't you get a new one?
Get some scissors.
Next time you go to Walmart, put it on your grocery list. And she did. So we were able to reduce that paper clutter.
Southern Belle saying she started sweating over my bill basket.
I know, I saw that too. I was laughing. I was like, that is so funny. She started sweating.
It's not all bills, okay? It's not all bills.
Yeah, maybe some of it is invitations to a ball.
Oh yeah, we get a lot of those. So rock bottom became the solid foundation on which I rebuilt my life. That's from J.K. Rowling, and it rings
my favorite authors. Ugh.
And I'm not saying like a broken closet rod or something like that can make you hit rock bottom, but it can affect how you live your life. I mean, people just won't. If you have a broken rod, or like in this guy's case, he had broken cabinets, he just started putting crap all over the countertop. Well, he wasn't able to cook or prepare food or anything because there was all this other stuff there. So some final organizing tips that we wanted to go over with you.
Yes.
Is let's talk about room function number one. So
using the space. What do you want your room to do for you? What benefits do you want to get out of that room? So many of us have multi-purpose rooms. It's true. I mean, you know, kids are doing homework on the kitchen table. How do you want your room to function? So I mentioned this earlier, but I turned my formal dining room into a multi-purpose room. So my 15-year-old daughter is a celebrity chef, and she has 3 cookbooks, and we have to do a lot of food photography. And so we have a lot of food styling items like plates and forks and glasses and just platters, all kinds of things. So all of that is organized in that room. It also has a sofa bed for an overflow guest room. I have an actual guest room, and then, you know, I have that as an overflow guest room, and there's a desk in there as well as a file cabinet. But the one thing that I did is that I made it look all cohesive. So all the decor, goes together and it doesn't look mishmashed and it doesn't look funky. But the room serves many purposes. So it's storage, it's it's a workspace, and it's a sleep space.
I
So
mean,
think about that when you are organizing and designing your rooms.
you should usually try to get 3 or 4 or maybe even 5 different functions in every single room that you have. You know what I mean?
Like right there, Tori, you know what I see? I see a dance floor.
Sometimes it is a dance floor.
We're gonna have a dance party in there.
Sometimes I had to move all the pet food, but like that's where the pets eat. This is where I work. That's where he works. We do crafts here. This is a sewing machine. So
Right, absolutely. I craft in here too, and I turned my my foyer closet, which is normally a coat closet or place you store the vacuum cleaner, I turned it into my craft closet. And it works really well because it's right next to my office where I craft.
yeah. So the next tip that I want you to think about is vertical space. Okay, and I'm using that in my office right now.
Me too.
I'll show you a picture. Actually, we're on us, so I won't show you a picture.
You know what? Well, you find the picture. I'm going to show my vertical space.
Yeah, you can show your vertical space.
So you can see right there, all the way to the top, that's my library because I'm an author and I collect books. And I actually use all of those books. But from the bottom to the very top, and even at the top, I have some organization systems set up there. I store things that I need but don't necessarily need to access every single day. And then I have the tall boyfriend who can reach up there for me.
Yes. And you want to use vertical space too.
Right, shirtless.
Shirtless.
Tori's like, reach up there, shirtless. Everybody needs one of those.
Need a little hand helper boy.
Man.
Fix it. But when you use vertical space, then you have open space like this, as you can see right here, and you're not tripping over things, and you actually have more just breathing room. Yeah. All right. Another tip is I like to use a second floor basket, and they actually make baskets for your stairs. So you can actually put the basket on your stairs. I don't have one of those necessarily because I think they're a little bit too country for my taste. But
so what do you use?
Basically, whenever something has to go to the second floor, I put it on the step, and I have made it known that whenever you're walking up the steps, so it's either me or my husband, you are taking it with you. So it goes up that way. Every time we go upstairs, if there's something on the step, we just take it up. So, I mean, you could use a basket, obviously, but you just want to make sure that everything gets back up to its right floor and then back into its right home.
I know I have a ranch style house, so I don't have stairs, but what I do, my daughter and I do every night is that we do a sweep of our public areas. So like the living room, the kitchen, the bathroom that everyone uses, and make sure that items that don't belong there are put in the home where it does belong. And actually we don't do, I guess because it's now so ingrained that we put things away as we use them. So we don't usually have a lot of things lying around. So usually at night when it's like a 1-minute job.
Yeah, I always do that too. There's like sometimes where he'll just leave something out, and it's like, so why couldn't you put it away? Yeah, put it away, put it away, put it away.
If it can be taken down, it can be put back up.
Yes. All right. You also, obviously, when you're organizing, you want to make sure you label everything. This is especially important if you have kids. Like Diane said, even if you use pictures for the young kids, but you want to make sure that they're able to help you and they know where you want everything. Okay.
Carla doesn't have a hot guy to reach the top shelf. She says she has to use a ladder or step stool.
Uh-oh. Carla, we got to get you a hot guy.
A tall, hot guy.
Yes. You would also try a trunk. Okay, so I love using dual purpose furniture pieces, whether it's an ottoman, a storage ottoman, or a trunk or something like that, where there's even beds now where you can lift up the mattress and there's all storage underneath the bed. So there's so many different storage solutions inside pieces of furniture that I suggest you try using those, especially to store like some odd pieces. And then also you could store stuff on the back of doors. Now I don't recommend this if you're selling. I don't want to see anything hanging on your door if you're selling, but you could definitely use
The
storage
inside of the door.
on the back part of your door, yeah.
Yeah.
I use that in my bathroom because we don't have a linen closet and it works fairly well now. But if you're selling your home, you don't want to have
Visual clutter.
you don't want to have things on the back of your door, number one, because it may not open all the way. And number two, it really shows that there's not enough storage.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the next slide, guys. We are almost done. And actually, we're going to be showing some
really cool pictures. And we get to talk about awesome storage. Oh, speaking of back of the door, there's one right there. So what I love about that is the over the door shoe hanger, and it has the clear pockets, and obviously they're labeled, but it's repurposed. It doesn't have shoes in it. It has other things in it. This closet is a great example of multifunctions. As you can see, they have, below the over the door shoe hanger, they have hooks to hang the shorter coats, and then at the bottom of the closet, you can see that it's kind of like their mud room. They have all of their shoes and their galoshes. There's even a yoga mat hanging at the back of the closet. And at the top are my favorite thing, those woven bins, but they don't have labels on them. We need to talk to these people.
Yeah, I love that. What about
beautiful too?
Now, if you don't have a closet, you can certainly create an entry storage way, which you want to do anyway, because like Diane said before, you don't want things just thrown on the floor when you get into your house. You need to make sure that there's a plan for that. So this is definitely a way to do that. And I love
so cohesive. It is so cohesive.
Yes, the cohesiveness of this, the baskets, the colors.
Yeah, look at it. So the dominant color theme is blue, white, and then the brown from the baskets and the oars, but they have like little pops of yellow. It's really pretty. So not only do they have function, but they have form, and these people labeled their baskets.
True. And you can even label it, I think they're labeled with just numbers, but that could be a cool way to do it too. What about this, the command center?
This is great for somebody like Carla when she had all of her kids at home. Command center is so great when you have kids and lots of activities that you're trying to keep track of. And also, I think Southern Belle was talking about that paper clutter. This is a great way to corral that paper clutter. See, the mail comes in one spot. There's a place for budget. There's a place for receipts and coupons. So you have multiple bins. You have a dry erase board where you can jot down some notes, maybe a grocery list. So this is a really great way to do it, and you can do it near the front door. You can do it on the refrigerator with really strong magnets. Where's another good place to put a family command center?
I mean, I think you could put one in a mudroom. I think you could put one. I wouldn't necessarily put it like on the entry, in the entry on the main wall, but you could put it off the wall. What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at Carla. I'm sorry. Carla, she says she has a hot guy. He's even tall, but he's rarely home.
Oh.
But thanks anyway.
Oh boy.
I love our participants today. They're very funny.
Yes, I love them. Thank you guys for participating. I love it. I love it.
Oh, so, look, this is a great tip from Anne. She has a family. She has a family meeting. So she is going to have a family meeting after our video, after our webinar, and she's going to get her boys on board with the organization. So congratulations, Anne. We're so glad you're making that change.
Yeah, and Anne, honestly, you're going to get a replay of this, or you're going to be able to see this on my YouTube channel where you're watching it right now. or over there on Diane's, and you can show them those sections, you know, fast forward to show them those sections. So it's not only coming from you, but it's coming from, you know, other people that are showing them the right way to do things.
Exactly. Southern Belle is in love with this command center. She said it's giving her life. So look at that. We helped a couple of people.
I love it.
By the way, this is not a staged kitchen. This is Tori's kitchen.
Yes.
Let's ooh and ah over Tori's kitchen. So I'm just going to say a couple of words about Tori's kitchen. One thing I really love about it is that you can see the horizontal space is free of clutter. She has important things out like her knife block, and there's like a KitchenAid, and she has her fruit out because obviously she eats healthy and she accesses that every day, but everything else is put away. And I don't think it's a huge kitchen, but it seems very spacious because there is no clutter.
Yeah, and we created it very functional. I mean, this was not our kitchen. We had to create this kitchen 2-3 years ago now, after Superstorm Sandy. So when I did that, we basically kind of worked on what we already had, but we expanded it a little bit. So I was able to get a dishwasher in here and get the laundry and the fridge next to each other and actually build out a whole other section over here. So if you are dealing with a remodeling project or something like that, think about how you can maximize the storage that you have. Now, this is what I'm saying if you want to create zones in every room. So in a kitchen, the first zone is going to be for preparing food. The second would be for cooking or baking supplies. The third would be for a place to eat. Okay, the fourth is for function in a kitchen, which is cleaning. And then the last one is storing items like foods and dishes and things like that.
Hey, Tori, can you pop open back to us?
Yes.
I want to show them my dream home binder real quick, because this goes along with what Tori's talking about. So I keep what I call my dream home binder. And in here, I have divided sections that tackle every room of the house. So like the first one is Eliana. So these were like the swatches of paint that we used in her room. So this is great for planning. And just like what Tori did, this is my patio, which I planned, and it actually looks exactly like this, but without the hammock. I have the hammock. I just need to have my tall, hot boyfriend hang it. No, but it's great to have. You can even do this just like this, a rudimentary drawing, and plan your zone. So on my patio, I have an eating area, a grilling area. I have a living area. I actually have a sofa there, and it's really great to be able to plan that out.
I love it. I want to see it.
I have a video on this on my YouTube channel
Of the dream planner.
This
right here would be in my dream home. What do you think about this linen closet?
Sigh, envy, because I don't have a linen closet. You and I both discussed this before. This linen closet is very, very well organized. I mean, and it's not only organized, but it is beautiful. I love that they painted the back of it. So you can see that the paper towels are organized on the bottom. They even have some closed storage right there in the middle. The towels are stacked, but you could also roll towels. I like to roll towels. If you have the room, roll towels, because they're a lot easier to access and they don't mess up. Those pull-out bins too are awesome, right?
I know, I love those. Now, what about, so yeah, we don't have that, obviously. I have something a little bit more like this, which I love because they've repurposed some things, especially on top you see there. Those are usually for spices, I would say. But I love that they made the back of this medicine cabinet magnetic, so they can basically use all the vertical space that they could in this cabinet. I also love that they use the back of the medicine cabinet to actually hold more storage, like the scissors and the brush and things like that.
And those lucite stands to help create little shelves on the shelves are really great.
I know. So you're maximizing storage in here, and then it also just looks pretty. So let's go to this last reason why someone may not begin to organize. And I know there was someone on here who's saying, if it's not perfect, I don't know if I want to do it, right?
Exactly.
So basically, many times people never start the organizing process because they're perfectionists. And while you may think these people should be well organized, most times they're not. And that's usually because they have the mentality, if they can't do it perfectly, they keep putting the project off. Okay, so this is it right here. Perfectionism is the mother of procrastination.
Show enough. It sure is. You can't, everything doesn't have to be perfect. And you also don't have to have the fanciest, most beautiful containers. You can work up to those. Work with what you have. Shop your home. Find containers that you already have, even if they are not matching at first. You know, this is how I stopped making excuses to organize my closet. I was like, you know what? Just because I can't hire someone to build me a closet system doesn't mean I cannot organize my closet. And then I organized it. And now I have to reorganize it because I had a life change. I got divorced and half the closet is empty. Hey, Tori, you can store half of your clothes in my closet.
Great, I'm coming over to visit. I'll store all my summer ones in there. Okay, let's quickly talk about staying organized. Okay, so what you want to do here is you want to create a routine chart. So you know what you need to do every day. You know what needs to get done on a daily basis, a monthly basis.
And that's great for kids. The routine chart, having a chore chart, helping you stay organized.
Yeah, and you don't want to shock the system either. You don't want to do too much all at once because then you're just going to get frustrated with yourself and you're not going to complete the projects that you need to do.
I like point 3, declutter as you go, meaning don't create new clutter. So when you come into the house and you have your jacket on, don't drop it on the arm of the sofa. Go hang it up wherever it's supposed to go. If you don't want to walk all the way to the closet and hang it up, then set up a system where it's by the front door. Like right now, it's sort of quote unquote winter here in New Orleans. So I have all of our jackets by the front door. So when we walk out, I can just grab the jacket. Because normally we store them in our closets because it doesn't get that cold here.
Yeah. Another thing too is put it away, not down. Okay. So as soon as you find yourself putting an object down, not in its home, pick it up right away and put it back in its home. Okay. And that's just going to help you declutter as you go. Right. And we talked about this, but you want to make it a group effort. You want to get everybody involved. You want to make sure everybody has an assignment, a chore, an organizational system that they need, that they're responsible for in your home.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yes. And we talked about setting reminders, whether it be on your digital calendar. Yes.
Or even just a timer.
Even just the timer as well. And then, of course, tweaking your systems. This isn't just a one and done type thing. This is something that you're going to constantly have to be changing and implementing depending on your needs and how you grow and what your life turns into.
Yeah, yesterday we talked about being organized, and organization is kind of like a living and breathing organism because it changes. It changes all the time. It changes with you, with your families. Life changes and habits, and when the kids start school or a child goes off to college, you have to change up your systems and tweak them and do what works best for your family. Go on Pinterest for inspiration.
Yeah, I love Pinterest. I really, really do. So I know we talked about a lot today. We do have an organizing mini course for you. It's usually $97, but we're giving it to you for $47. It's an amazing deal. You get 4 training videos. It's 100% online. You get 3 worksheets plus some checklists and planners that you're able to customize. It's basically a complete home organizing strategy simplified, so you don't have to be running your wheels and trying to figure out what you need to do. And we also have a members only private Facebook group where you're going to be able to get access to, so you can share your experiences, you know, get advice from us, and support others who are basically going through the same process as you, because everybody is organizing, everybody may have some creative ideas. And if you do purchase this today, and you can go right to this link at the bottom of your screen at bit.ly/organizing offer. Okay, so if you go right there and purchase this today, we have some fast action bonuses that we talked to you earlier about, and it's a 30-minute consultation that you'll be given, right? As
Yeah, it's like having a personal coach at your fingertips.
it is, and the whole entire course is like that as well. You'll also be getting a checklist bundle, I believe, with 5 checklists in it that gives you things to do in each area of your home, as well as a home organizing plan that you're able to customize, that we can help you customize and tailor and basically hold you accountable. I want to make sure that you stay motivated through this entire process. I want to be here for you. I want to be holding your hand. We both do, that is. We both want to be holding your hand and helping you through this process because, as we mentioned, it's something that's going to continue to have to be worked on and looked at in order for you to be successful this year with your organizing goals.
So what I like to say is that being organized, it starts off with developing habits, getting your team on board, and then turning those habits into a lifestyle. It's just like when people talk about eating healthy and losing weight, it becomes a lifestyle. It's the same thing with being organized. And once you get used to your space being beautiful and clean, spacious, and productive, you're going to want to stay that way.
Yes, and so let me, I'm just typing in the chat now. If you guys have any specific questions about home organizing that you'd like to know more about, please let us know in the chat. Also, if you have
That would be the time.
That would be the time, guys, because we're wrapping all this up. If you have questions about the course, you could please let us know about that as well. I'm going to, let me put up our information so people know where they can get us.
Yes, we are on all the social media platforms, so check us out. If you're on Facebook or IG or YouTube, you can watch our videos, you can visit our websites, we both blog. There's tons of information.
Yes, we will definitely keep those to-do lists busy. And one thing I would recommend is take, you know, like one project a month, one bigger project a month, and try and get through all of that. And then February, start another project. In March, start another project. When you complete all that, you could have potentially 12 organizing projects done by the end of the year. Or even if you have 6 done, that's a huge accomplishment, right, Diane?
And yeah, especially if you're maintaining them. So
Yeah.
you've got to get your family on board. One of the things that you can look at on my Instagram is I have a hashtag called Daily Organizing. So last year I did this whole project where I was organizing the guts of my home, where I wanted every single drawer and every cabinet that you opened to be organized. So I did that, but I did it like one shelf at a time, one drawer at a time, and I posted it. And it was usually between a 10 to 30 minute project. 30 minutes was usually the very longest project that I did. But it'll give you some ideas on spaces that you can organize and how you can start small. I also like to tell people to ensure success to really do start small. So start with a junk drawer or your purse. A purse is something you use every day. So cleaning it out, dumping every single thing out, reassessing what you need and what you don't need, and containerize. So makeup, put it in a little makeup bag. Receipts, get a little Ziploc or a receipt holder for your receipts and your coupons, and get all of that organized.
So Carla says, I have a big kitchen, but it has a big octagonal island in the middle, making it feel crowded when it's just one or two of us. It's just downright tight when we have extended family over. That sounds
Hmm.
more like a remodeling issue.
Yes, it does. Oh, poor that. Oh, wow, an octagonal island. Well, one thing that you can do is use that octagonal island for proper storage of the things that are in your kitchen. So at least you're getting some good use out of it, so that it's not just, you know, an eyesore or a space waster or space taker. Southern Belle says that she has taken notes. She'll refer back to this video throughout the year to help when she's applying our suggestions. So thank you so much, Southern Belle. We're so glad that you came on board, and you know that you're finding all of this helpful. We're here to help you.
Yeah, and I just told her too, you know, you should definitely consider trying out the organizing mini course, because we will be with you every step of the way. You can ask us questions anytime, and we have like a plethora of organizing tips.
Right, knowledge and skills and experience, and we have failed and made the mistakes that we can give you the wisdom to not fail and not make those same mistakes.
Yes. And then Carla also said, oh my goodness, we put 3 deep shelves into our twin daughter's linen closet, and the bottom shelf just would not stay put. We got it rehung twice, but it's still on the floor. This would have been great. What if you, so
What about those rolling bins? Those are really great. So instead of a shelf, maybe you can get a couple of those rolling bins that has the pull-out bins. You can find those at the Container Store and IKEA.
I use that in my closet too, and it's just because you're able to actually move it and take it with you. So even if you're storing something in there that, you know, you're constantly.
It's a safety issue. Really, it's a safety issue. You don't want to hang that shelf back up if it keeps falling, especially if you have a small child. So take that shelf out and find a different way to store in that space.
Awesome, guys. So make sure you put in your questions if you have any. I will put up our information just one more time. If you want, take a screenshot of it with your mobile phone or whatever you want to do.
Hit us up.
Yeah, we want to hear from you. We want to see your transformation. So please show us anything that you've done, that you've learned from here. Please post that on our Facebook or Instagrams.
Yes, and make sure you use the hashtag Home Organizing 2016. We should have put that on there. Forgot. Home Organizing 2016 is the hashtag on IG, on FB, and on Twitter.
Yes, and then there is the organizing course, that link right there, bit.ly/organizing offer. And if we don't have any other question, guys, I guess we're just going to wrap it up here.
It was so much fun, right? I had a great time. Our participants they were so much fun, and they were funny. Carla says she did say it was her dream home. Carla has some issues in her kitchen. You see that? The stove has cabinets that can only be accessed after moving all the stools that we use there. Wait, the stove has cabinet. Okay, so you have stools inside the cabinet? Is that what you're trying to say? I don't understand. Or the stools are in front of the cabinet?
It sounds like it's all stemming from this island that she.
Yeah, and maybe the stools can't be stored around the island. She needs a new island. She needs a new paradise.
At this point, I mean, it sounds like when you're saying octagonal island, I'm thinking that's pretty big. You can basically put a pile of farm table in there and cut your size in half. It's rectangle versus octagon.
Aw, that's so sweet. Southern Belle says, Happy New Year and have a world-class day, ladies. You too, Southern Belle. I'm so glad to have met all of you. And I'm going to close with how I close all of my videos, which is that remember, life is too short not to sparkle. Here's to organizing happily ever after.
Have a great what? Oh boy. Have a great day, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for the
A great day, wonderful day.
joining. We really do appreciate it. If you do have any questions, please reach out to us. We're here to help you. So thank you so much. All right. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye.